Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing another writing vlog. It doesn't seem like it could already be a month, but somehow it has been a month, and so I decided that since we're about a week out from Camp NaNoWriMo July, that I would just sit down and give y'all a bit of an update on my writing progress. The last time I updated y'all on my writing, essentially what I was doing was taking all of the thoughts that had been in my head for years and putting them onto paper, and I hadn't really done much development of those ideas. I just had been getting them out of my brain and basically word vomiting onto the page. Also, the last time I updated y'all, I was feeling like my plot was a little stale. I've been working on the story for many years, and I was kind of stuck, and I wasn't sure how to remedy anything, and typically when I remedy things with the plot, it's because of some epiphany that I've had, and of course I can't control when I have those, so I was very worried about how I was going to develop everything, including the plot, especially the plot, before Camp NaNoWriMo. And I can gladly say that I feel like I have made some very positive, very interesting changes to the plot that make it feel a lot fresher and a lot less generic or stale like I was feeling a month ago. Essentially, the only work that I've done on this story over the past 2 weeks is just outlining. As of the other day, which was when I finished my outline, I believe it was around 5,000 words, which I actually made an Instagram post about it because that's longer than any of the papers that I wrote over this past year for school, and it's just my outline of my novel. This time last month, there were definitely some points in my plot that I felt were very weak and underdeveloped, and I wasn't really sure how to kind of reveal some of the more twisty, more secretive aspects of the plot to both the characters and to the reader, and I think that going through and writing out the entire outline has really helped me to figure out what methods I needed to use to reveal some of that. For example, and without going into too much detail, essentially there are a few more secretive things that the main characters have to figure out as the novel goes along, and when I originally outlined everything and when I originally conceived the story, I kind of handled all of those things in the same way. And I feel like this is part of the reason that I thought my story was feeling a little stale, just because the same thing kind of happened multiple times. But when I was going through the outline, I kind of figured out different ways that things could be revealed and that secrets could be uncovered, and these ways are way more interesting than what I had originally plotted it out to be, so I love the strides forward that I feel like I've taken with the plot. I also feel like I have finally kind of locked into what some of the character motivations are. There were definitely a few characters where I wanted them to do certain things, but I wasn't really sure of how I could explain why they did those things, and I think that while outlining, I finally uncovered the actual reasoning behind these characters doing these things, and this makes sense finally, so that's another thing that I'm just really excited about. I think the main theme of this video for me is that I feel at this point like I have made some changes that are huge strides forward as far as developing the plot and the story and the characters, and that's something that I'm really excited about, and I really hope that that excitement carries me into Camp NaNoWriMo, and it helps me to be really excited about writing this new version of the story that I've been working on for years, and I really hope that it just livens up the plot and freshens everything up and makes it really, really intriguing and interesting. So essentially that has been my main focus for the past month, is just developing the plot and figuring out what point of views I wanted to tell things from and figuring out what POVs make sense in different situations, and I'm glad that I feel like I finally have that mostly nailed down. And basically the entire time I've been writing this story, I've always thought of it as a standalone, I've always approached it as a standalone, but the more I get into it and the more I work on it, the more I kind of want it to be a duology. I can really see it working better as a duology than as a standalone, and so I'm kind of toying with that idea, and that's also why at this point right now my ending as far as the outline and the plot is not fully developed. That is the only part of my plot that I feel is still slightly weak. And I think the thing that's really going to help me figure out the details of the ending of the book is going to be just sitting down and writing it during July Camp NaNoWriMo. Because right now I feel like the direction that I'm taking it in is a good one, and it's the right direction to take it, and it's going to be the most interesting direction to take it. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually the right way to take it or the best way to take it. It's very up in the air right now, and I'm kind of going back and forth between two different things that could happen at the end and two different ways that I could handle this. And so as of right now, I'm kind of toying with the idea of it being a duology, but I'm still not completely negating the original plan of it being a standalone. So as we are still a week out from Camp NaNoWriMo, I do still plan to get some more work done before the actual writing begins. However, since it's a full week and I have finished most of my outline, I'm going to calm down a little bit because I don't want to overexert myself before Camp NaNoWriMo starts and then get burnt out before I even start actually writing the story. So essentially the way I plan on spending the next week is working on the characters. I feel like I have their personalities pretty solidified, but like I said in my last video, in order to make them fully fleshed out, fully real people, I want to go through and kind of go through like almost a personality quiz or survey, kind of answering it as them, just to make sure that I do have a really firm hold on their personalities. Because the outlining has actually helped me to further solidify their personalities, but I just want to spend the next week really focusing on that and making sure that I am as certain as I actually feel like I am. Also, I totally forgot, but I meant to mention what music I've been writing to. So actually about half the time that I'm writing, I'll actually be listening to ASMR videos instead of music, just because if I really can't focus, then they help me to not think about what's going into my ears. If you don't know what ASMR is, I'll leave my favorite or one of my favorite videos down in the description for you to just kind of see what it is. It's basically people making sounds for relaxation or for sleep, and it really helps me to be able to hear something but not focus on it like music. But I do also listen to music when writing. And for some reason, there's a lot of music that will distract me when writing the story, but the one album/artist that always helps me to focus when I'm writing the story for some reason is the Ever After CD by Marianas Trench, which is really funny because back in NaNoWriMo 2014, I was listening to this album while writing because it was one that I had recently really fallen in love with. I'd listened to Marianas Trench for quite a while, but I hadn't really listened to that album very much. And then I was watching a live stream that Kat from Katietastic did, and she talked about one of the songs from that CD that she actually really liked to listen to while writing the novel that she was writing for NaNoWriMo 2014. So I thought that that was really funny, and I didn't know that she liked Marianas Trench before that. But yeah, Marianas Trench is one of my absolute favorite bands. I talked about them in my favorite bands video. They're number 4 on my ranking list, so they're right below my 3 like top tier all-time favorites, and their album Ever After is one of my favorite albums of all time. I think it also made my top 10 CDs of all time, so that one's a really awesome one. It's a concept album based around this story that the lead singer Josh Ramsey wrote, and it's kind of a fantasy story set in like this alternate reality or an alternate world, and I think that's possibly why it actually helps me write this, since part of my novel does take place in an alternate world. But yeah, the album Ever After by Marianas Trench is amazing, and it's one of the only things that I can actually listen to while writing this novel. So that is about it for this writing vlog. I think this is going to be the last one until at least the end of Camp NaNoWriMo, because I feel like July is going to be a pretty busy month because I'm not just going to be writing, I'm also going to be trying to read a bit. I get super into Big Brother in the summer, so I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm also going to be working, so I feel like my schedule is going to be a little bit busy, and when I do actually do videos, I'm probably going to want to focus more on the book videos than on the writing videos, just because I'll be spending so much time writing already. So that being said, expect my next writing update to come at the end of July or the beginning of August, but I will be updating the Camp NaNoWriMo site while I am writing, I think, probably, if I actually pay attention to that. So I will leave a link down in the description to like my writer-author profile on the Camp NaNoWriMo site, just so if you want to, you can keep up to date with how I'm doing, how I'm meeting my goals. I'm probably going to set my personal like word count goal a little bit higher than it's supposed to be. I'm shooting for 50,000 words, in July, so technically my goal should be somewhere around like 15 or 1600 words, but I'm probably going to set it at like 2,000 words a day for me personally, just so that I kind of shoot for a little bit higher, and if I miss that just by a little bit, I'll still be meeting the actual 50,000 word goal by the end. So that was a very long-winded way of me saying, check my Camp NaNoWriMo page for updates. I will be trying to do more than the required word count per day. Let me know down in the comments if any of y'all are also participating in Camp NaNoWriMo. I am getting really excited because I actually want to win this time. I want to write 50,000 words in the month of July, and I hope I can do it with all the other stuff I'm doing. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!